Good morning, good morning, good morning. Buenos dias, mi gente. Yo. Welcome to Daily Discipline number 432. My name's Rob Hoback. Happy that you're here. Honored and humbled that you keep coming back like for reals. Hey, it's a Sunday fun day. It is December 22nd. That means it's Ra's birthday. Happy birthday, Ray. I love you, baby. It's Sunday fun day, right? And it's time to go. So let's do this. First things first. I'm still the realist. I'm also a giver. Yeah, I am. I'm generous. I've always been that way. And all of those things are starting to come back now. I had people, number one, this has been fun. The last 2 days, or the last couple days, here are my receipts of where I mailed out Christmas cookies and stuff. I love that. Look at all that. I'm kind of proud of it. I am proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that, I haven't done shit for Christmas for a couple of years because I've been in a bad mood. And so I felt pretty good this year. And the joy that other people get, it's worth it. It's worth the effort. All right. First things first, I already did that. Thankies go out. Let's start with the Outlaws. Sam plays on two basketball teams. This is with a bunch of guys from football, and they're pretty good. Yeah, they played in a tournament last night. Now, having said that, the teams they were playing appeared to be a little bit younger, but they still dominated, and they played well, and it's always fun. And Sam played well, and he had fun. While I was there, my next thankie is I went to the snack shop because Sissy said she needed some Skittles, and got to take care of Sis, right? So I went over and the guy's like, hey, you're the guy from that YouTube video, aren't you? I'm like, well, which one? And he's like, and then he was talking about one of the football things. We had a nice little chat. It's always fun, right? It's always fun. Hopefully I get to see him again today. And then the last thing is I am thankful for daily discipline. I haven't talked about that lately, but 432 days in a row. And this has obviously had a profound impact on me, my life, how I'm living. We're just going to keep this going, and I appreciate everybody showing up. All right, so here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to run that back, Turbo. It's week 51, second to last full week of the year. And just talk about the things that we learned. So number one, we started out the week at what cost? We're talking about the Patriots in there. What I'm assuming is their addiction to winning and finding an edge and always pushing the envelope and just continuing to put themselves in harm's way, right? Because that's what we do with addictions, right? We just push the envelope. And we all have to learn how to control that addiction, regardless of what it is. Television, our phone, drugs, sex, gossip, football, whatever it is, right? You got to learn how to control that. And when your addiction to something starts interfering with other people, it's a problem. You got to pump the brakes. All right. We talked about now put it back, right? Like the story of the young man playing Monopoly with his grandma and her, just working him every single time and teaching him a couple of life lessons. Number one, business is not your friend. It's not friendly. It's a very aggressive environment in which people will, it's just, and you hear these things like, don't take it personal. It's just business. Just stuff like that. Yeah. Which is very, very difficult. Just understand you can't take that with you, right? Those are the two things is that business is a dog-eat-dog world. If you're not prepared for it, play some Monopoly and figure it out. And then number two, can't take it off. And when it's done, it's done. Push it to it reminds me of a conversation I had with a guy about a year and a half ago when I was talking about some land down here, possibly for the Ville. And he was telling me the story. He's like, I worked my entire life to accumulate all of this land. And now that, and he had some sort of terminal illness that was eventually going to take his life. And he's like, and now I'm trying to put all this stuff in trust and everything so that my family doesn't fight about it when I'm gone. No thanks, right? No thanks. Can't take it with you. Turn it up. Living our lives with confidence. I'm a perfect example. Look at the tonality and the energy and everything that I bring here compared to when we first began, right? And even now when people ask me about daily discipline, I don't cower. I'm not embarrassed by it. Right? This is good stuff. This is what I got to do to keep my head right. And every day that I win and we just advance the ball, eventually it's going to attract other people. Like, I want more of that. Like, I bet you do, right? Let's turn it up. Sports matter. Holy cow, right? Like we talked about Emmitt Smith and seeing how he handled himself when his son was, signing his letter of intent. And one of the things, I don't know if I even recognized it the other day, one of the things that they were the most proud of is that his son had all of these opportunities to play football, but he chose Stanford and he could go there because he had the grades to get in. Hall of Fame football player teaching his son, like, hey, the football will come. I gave you those genes. Now study. Get yourself into a good, and that way if the football thing doesn't work out, you're prepared. But even if it does work out, you're prepared and you're prepared up here. I mean, that's good fathering, man. I love that stuff. Talked about the Lakers, and the Bucks, and about how Giannis is playing better, and he understood, like, hey, for me to go to the next level, I have to take my game to the next level. And looks like he's going to have Giannis is going to take the torch from LeBron. Yeah, good riddance, Tom Coughlin. Last night in there was a really good football game on the Niners and the Rams, and the Rams were terrible earlier this season, and they started playing better defensively when Marcus Peters showed up there. Excuse me, not Marcus Peters. They traded Marcus Peters for Jalen Ramsey from the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? One of the all-pro guys, like, yeah, I don't want to play down there with those goofballs anymore. Anyway, just sports matter, right? There's every example we would need in life. There's a sports example. In sports, the rules are completely different, much cleaner than life and business. Good is the enemy of great, right? We talked about this. When things are good, it's hard to make changes. It takes courage to take something good and say, we're going to make this better. I present Tiger Woods, right? Tiger Woods has redone his golf swing 3 or 4 times. Most people, like me, I'm still fighting the golf swing that I brought to the party from the very beginning. It's amazing. And then you got a couple good examples in football. The Houston Texans won their division yesterday barely. They barely beat a team that had 5 turnovers, right? And they barely beat them. So they're not a great team. They're not a dominant team. They're just good enough. And so that's what you're going to keep getting. Just good enough, right? 2 plus 2 is always Favre. If you want 2 and 2 if you want to get a different result than Favre, you better add some different variables in there. And then way to go, Joe, right? Talking about the 500K that, has been raised as a result of his Heisman trophies. So again, man, sports matter. Being confident, can't take it with you, control your addictions. This is all good advice. Last thing I want to share with you, a couple sad stories that I observed this week. 2 completely different sad stories. So first of all, I was having lunch with, the mad scientist here, and he's telling me the story about how they ordered DoorDash, and the people showed up, and it was like a parent driving a child who had Down syndrome, and the Down syndrome kid came up and delivered the food, blah blah blah. So the guy went out and talked to the parent, and the parent's like, yeah, he wants to make his own money, and most people won't hire him, and so just helping him. And he's like, oh, I was just so sad that kid, and I'm like, man, that's not sad. That's awesome. That's awesome that child has a parent that's willing to make that sacrifice and help out a child who didn't get a choice, right? Kids like that, they don't get a choice. They don't end up in that situation because of a decision they made. That's the lot that life gave them, right? And that parent has figured out that there will be nobody more loyal to them than one of those children who understand when somebody responds to them with love and empathy. The other situation, right, was one where I was at the doctor's office with Jack, and a guy came in and tried to get an appointment. They're like, we can't see you anymore. And you could tell by looking at the guy that the reason is that he's got a problem with drug addiction. Skinny, frail, the big black, just bad, sad, right? I was sitting there looking at it, and, that happened before the other thing happened. I'm like, I shouldn't be sad, right? I mean, it's a sad situation, but that person makes that decision every single day to continue down that path. And I'm sure they fight it in their mind and for whatever reason. And so I have empathy for that person. But I have, there's a difference between empathy and sympathy, right? Empathy is when you can put yourself in somebody else's situation, like, man, that sucks. Right? Like somebody's struggling with an addiction. We've all been addicted to things that we know we shouldn't. Like, man, I got to stop doing that. And so it's easy for us to have empathy for somebody else. But to have sympathy, that means you take pity on them. And why would we take pity on somebody who is not, you can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves, right? And so when I look at those 2 stories here, you have a family that says, hey, we got dealt a shit hand here, or what appears to be a shit hand. Let's make the best of it. And then you have another one that says, let's keep perpetuating the bad behavior, and perhaps somebody will take pity on us. Just 2 different, right? So the last thing we'll close up with this is that I'm excited to tell you that in the next couple of days, in the last week, we're going to talk about things we're doing in 2020. We're going to talk about InstaFace. We're going to talk about podcasts and just a bunch of other stuff. So come back tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Sympathy and empathy are going to be some of those things that we talk about. We got lots to talk about. We're just going to keep this going. So I appreciate you stopping by. With that, we're done for the day. Hands up. Peace out. We're better together. Appreciate you stopping by on a Sunday fun day. I got to get to work wrapping those presents. Maybe make some more cookies. I don't know. But we'll be back tomorrow on a Manic Monday. Look forward to seeing you then. Lots of football today. Enjoy it. Packers don't play tomorrow night. That's why I'm just rocking the black. All right. We'll talk to you later. Deuces.